Good afternoon, this is Darren Benton again with Performance Motorcoaches. We're out here on a pretty nice spring day. Apologize for a little bit of the wind. Finally got a microphone. Hopefully that'll help out a little bit. So we'll kind of see what kind of noise we get from the cars. We're along a pretty major road. Of course, it'll help once we get inside, but thanks for tuning in. This is a preview of a really special show hauler for us. This is loaded with the first of first. This coach is really unique in that we tried to develop a motorhome that was very, for a better term, Class A-ish. So opposing slides, as a televator TV, we did really deep slides. We wanted to basically maximize and show the rest of the RV industry what we're capable of. Typically in the past, I've built a lot of really unique coaches, a lot of 2-bath, which is kind of unheard of, 2 full baths, bunk beds, but I wanted to build something just a little bit different. This coach was actually intended for the FMCA show, the Family Motor Coaches Association show out in Tucson. Of course, with all the COVID going on, hopefully we're just about over the hump there, getting out of it. The show was canceled, so brought this coach in last week, stayed in the coach 2 nights coming in. Great coach, a lot of fun, performs well, performed great, really spacious. I never saw myself as a recliner kind of guy. I've never owned a recliner. I sat in the recliner 2 nights and watched TV. I got to tell you, I might be a recliner guy now. So anyway, come in and take a look. This is a Freightliner Cascadia, 600 horse. Very important. This is a Detroit-powered Cascadia with a Detroit transmission. So the engine itself is a 15.6 liter. They call it the DD16, 600 horse, 1850 torque, and it's mated to the Detroit transmission 12-speed. They call it the DT12. Phenomenal power combination. Has all the safety features you would expect in any kind of higher-end automobile. Runs, drives, performs great. I can't think of a better truck. I can't think of a better power plant. So super happy with that. We've been running the Detroit for about 2 years now. I personally don't think there's anything to be had beyond that. Kind of pan out here. Of course, very important. A lot of people don't realize that this is just not a truck. So we'll run a double frame. This is an 18,000 pound front. We'll run 315 tires up front. It's important to start with the right chassis. There's some manufacturers out there that will build on an over-the-road truck. We will, as long as the conversion is just right, but ultimately safety is of utter importance, and you won't see that from Showhauler building on trucks and overloading the front axles and such. We'll come down the side here. Of course, loaded with options, loaded with amenities, rooftop awnings, spray foam ceiling, spray foam walls, foam board below, side swing baggage doors, fully locking. I've always said you can go buy a Kia for 15 grand and get a key fob that'll open and close everything. Well, the same is with this coach right here. You got a key fob or a keypad to operate all your storage compartments, including the cab. And that's something we do here at Performance Motorcoaches, is we take a little bit step further and actually wire in the cab itself. Be a little bit tough because of the shadowing and such. So you'll see some shadows to get in the storage compartments here. One thing that I introduced, I did a dual storage compartment, so it's essentially 2 doors but 1 elongated storage compartment. Makes it handy if you got skis and whatnot, but a ton of storage on this coach. In fact, we'll keep on coming down here. And what you will find with the way that I like to build them and like to spec them is it's important to get all the business on this side of the coach. The business on the other side of the coach. Keep all the everything open for storage here. Because the way things lay out, we obviously have the hydronic heater right back here on the right corner, but ultimately a ton of storage all the way down the side of this coach. Storage on the other side. Really can't think of a way to maximize any storage beyond this. So really happy with the way everything turned out. Cool paint job. So people that know me, that have watched some of the videos, my preference as far as paint schemes, we'll try to flip-flop here as far as shadows and such. I come from a heavy service background, and it drives me nuts whenever we damage, our customer damages a storage compartment, and we're trying to match graphics it would be down a storage compartment. So this particular paint scheme I picked out to maximize the possibility of having a close match after the fact. So if you damage a storage compartment, basically you just have to match the paint. You don't have to go through and match graphics and whatnot. You don't have to match fades. So pretty happy with the way the paint job came out. This would be kind of my preference. A little wildness up top, but ultimately pretty conservative paint job all the way through and through. I'll open up the outdoor TV here. Of course, this is a 40-inch Samsung. It's smart TV. Has a sound bar here. You can connect your phone via the sound bar right here. Another thing that we do here, we spec them with a 110 plug and a USB. Kind of the idea is you're hanging out outside, you probably want to charge your phone, people are kind of hanging out. So we put that plug right here after the fact to kind of make it just a little bit nicer setup, make the coach more user friendly. Get these things closed up. Pretty cool rooftop awnings. I don't know if we can get flopped around here again. It's pretty windy, the way it always is in West Texas. I wanted to kind of show you the way that these Girard 2-stages operate. They will suck back in if you have too much wind, which makes it pretty handy. I'll probably stop them a little bit short because it's pretty windy today, probably 20-30 mile an hour wind. I'll go ahead and stop them right now. Of course, you go to the website. We'll show some pictures of them with them in the out stage once we get it back in the shop. But we'll continue around the side of the coach. On the back side of the motorhome, what's probably most noticeable is the 40,000-pound hitch. So for the guys that are pulling big stacker race car trailers, whether you're a race guy or whether you're an enthusiast, 40,000-pound hitch. This is actually rated at 30,000 right here, and then we go ahead and weld a 2-inch receiver for people that are flat towing, or if you want to put a 2-inch ball there. Very robust hitch. We got guys that will put lifts on the back, put their motorcycle, put their ATV, and still be able to flat tow. So very robust hitch, and so you'll see that on all the show haulers. To go along with the heavy dutiness, nice welded steel ladder there versus the death traps you see on most Class A's and a lot of the fifth wheels. So I'm pretty happy with that ladder. Of course, you'll see security lights all the way around as well. This is what would commonly be called like a buddy plug here. So the idea is if you had a trailer or if you're camping with a friend, you could plug in a 50-amp connection there. Makes it pretty handy. Come around the back, you'll see the nice molded fiberglass cap here. So this will be the first what I considered wet bay. So this will serve the rear bath and also the toilet from the half bath up front. It's 72 gray, 72 gallon black. Very easy to operate. This particular coach doesn't have any of the macerator systems on. I kind of say gravity has a tendency not to break, so I typically don't spec them out with macerators, but it's something we can easily install here at the dealership. Come around here, a short connection. We got somebody inside there operating the slides just to alleviate that time delay once we walk inside the coach. As far as water on board on this coach, there are two 75-gallon freshwater tanks, so 150 gallons of fresh water. Definitely get the job done. Some extra lights right here. Makes it handy if you're pulling in campgrounds at night, or if somebody's right in your blind spot as you're cruising down the road, you fire those off on the dashboard. Nice size storage right here. Storage there. This is a gray water tank for your kitchen and for your washer dryer above. Generator here, so spec'd out with a 12.5 Onan. Really, that's the largest generator that's RVIA spec'd. maybe a little overkill, but it's nice to be able to have enough power to run everything on the coach and a little extra. This is a 2800 watt Magnum inverter there. Showhauler does a good job at spacing everything. So basically anything 12 volt related from the floor down will all be in this particular storage compartment right here. Of course, your auto generator start is there as well. And then this will be your chassis battery and your house batteries. Simplicity. A lot of people, there again from a service aspect, this is the gizmo that they use to be able to charge your batteries. Either if you're plugged in, this gizmo right here will ensure your chassis battery stayed charged. Of course, conversely, if you're driving up and down the highway, it will connect and start charging your house batteries from your chassis. It's amazing what we see in our service department. So many different gizmos. Class A manufacturers make things hard. This little guy right here is dependable. There's really nothing to it. So just the idea is very simplicity in its design. I'll take and flop around here. One thing that I kind of fail to mention a lot of times is the slide mechanisms. So Showhauler uses a very simple slide mechanism. It's from Lifco. They've been using the same mechanism for 20 plus years. It just simply doesn't break. There's two support arms on either side of this. Initially, whenever I started dealing with Showhauler several years ago, I was not a big fan of the arms themselves. I thought they were a little unsightly. But now that I've become used to seeing them in everyday service, I wouldn't know anything without them. So two support arms on either side, very little things to drag, to hold, to create problems for you. So I've personally never had an issue with the slide out mechanism. I've had some pins disappear, ultimately put a new pin in and you're good to go. So really no real issues there. You'll see here, definitely a high grade paint job. You see all your graphics will continue on the inside of your slide outs as well. We'll come back around to the front of the coach. Really easy entry. That's kind of the idea back behind. I don't run these into the same category of a Super C. I call these a truck chassis motorhome. I kind of put them in their own category by themselves. But just the idea is, the safety aspect, having the engine out front of you. This particular unit has crash mitigation. It has adaptive cruise, so just a lot safer than basically any RV out there. Not to mention the fact that we're a fully welded steel frame as opposed to fiberglass. So definitely just a whole different ball game. Single, pop this down, single 120 gallon fuel tank. I believe that's a 13 gallon def tank. Handy to be able to fuel just on one side. Some of the other units with the Cummins, they'll have two fuel tanks. That's my preference, to have just one single fuel tank. Really don't want to have to scout out a truck stop to fuel up if I don't need to, if I don't want to. We'll come back around, show you this little gizmo here in the lower bumper here. That's your adaptive cruise module. And once we get back over here, I failed to mention over here, so this does have blind spot monitoring. So a little radar right there that'll give you notification if there's a car next to you. We'll go ahead and come back inside. That's the only thing that I believe I missed on the outside was a little kind of a brief description on the hydronic heat. Of course, we're trying to get out of the wind and such. In fact, we'll just go ahead and walk inside and I'll continue the conversation about the hydronic heat. I'm going to kick my shoes off as I come in. So with the hydronic heat, it's basically a diesel-fired boiler. And that particular boiler, when it heats coolant, the coolant is then circulated throughout the coach. So there'll be heat registers kind of located here and there. If you walk into any coach, you'll see these little guys, right down here below the kitchen and in front of that sofa right there. So a little heat register back behind there, and heated coolant circulates throughout those little 12-volt fan. So it's great to be able to heat the coach without having to use any propane. It's all diesel fired. There are electric elements in there as well, so if you're at a campground and it's the summertime, you really don't want to have to listen to that heater or fire the heater up. We'll do a great job just with 2 electric elements in there. I don't believe I built a single coach without hydronic heat. Just the freedom of going away from the propane is night and day difference. So definitely happy with that. This is an Oasis system. The difference between the Oasis and the AquaHot is simply customer service. We've dealt with Oasis for about 5 years now. You can pick up the phone, they answer the phone, they can help out. Whereas AquaHot, you call, leave a message, take a number type of thing. So just kind of works well with the package as a whole with Showhauler. The fact that very customer service oriented. Our dealership is very customer service oriented. So just one other thing that kind of sets Showhauler apart, sets our dealership apart as well. Kind of stay there, and I want to just be able to back up and show how much room you have in here. Like I said, a true RVer's coach, more of maybe a mom and pop. The fact that it has opposing slides here. This is my first coach with the Villa Furniture. We've used another brand. Not that we've been unhappy with that, but just to kind of take it to the next level. A lot of your higher Class A manufacturers use the Villa as well. So we've got a jackknife here. These are recliners right here. They are electric recliners. And then your dinette back here, you got storage on each side of the dinette. I typically don't build my dinettes convertible to be used as sleeping, simply because they rattle up and down the road. So it kind of drives me crazy. So this coach basically just has a sleeping here and then the king bed in the back. But very happy with the evolution or the addition of the Villa Furniture. Of course, everything else there's so much to talk about inside this coach. This is one of the first coaches we built with the little wooden lower valance arms here. Just kind of ties it in, gives it a little bit nicer look. Gives it, everything. We tried to eliminate anything rounded, any rounded trim. Everything is nice and square, just more modern. Even your upper trim around your slide out. If you'll notice, this is probably one of the first coaches you'll see without trim around every single corner. To me, just kind of cleans it up a little bit. I've had trim carpenters walk in and say, "This is a whether you want to say a trim carpenter's nightmare or dream. There was just trim everywhere." Pulled a lot of that trim off to kind of give it a little bit more open feel, a little bit cleaner feel, and just kind of minimalistic as far as a design standpoint. I will, if you want to pop there and kind of watch right there. This is a pretty cool aspect we did. We have a 50-inch pop-up TV there. I went ahead and took it a step further. I went ahead and added Apple TV here, and then ran that into the HDMI splitter, so you can run Apple TV on any of the TVs here. That big monster 50-inch flat screen there. Pretty cool setup. We'll kind of come down the side of the kitchen. For people that haven't seen any of my videos or they don't really know a lot about show haulers, this is pretty cool. This is something you typically don't even see in higher end homes. I don't know if you can catch this dovetail right here, but all the drawers are dovetail. Just a lot of quality inside and out. I'll go ahead and slam this. You want to back up, I'm going to slam this. So soft close hinges. One thing pretty proud of, and I spec every coach with it. It drives me crazy. You walk inside people's RVs and they have trash bags tied here and there. I always spec them out with a nice pull-out trash can. Initially, we were using some of the kind of the store-bought, trash can holders and glides, and so I came up with a really nice setup. So you can kind of maximize more space. Just a little bit nicer setup. Of course, down here, you got slide control, your Oasis controller as well, and then the TV controller up there. Pretty good storage everywhere, all the way around. I stopped at a place on the way home, and I saw this great little Krug machine, and I couldn't help myself. So it's a permanent fixture here. It's 3M taped into place there. You could be removed, but I thought it was just a really cool aspect to kind of throw to it. More storage here. People ask, like, what's the difference between Showhauler as far as being built and such? We do have limitations as far as building and construction. All the water lines and all the drain lines are above the floor in a Showhauler, so doing mid-entry is a little bit more tasking. Because we do all the water lines and drain lines above the floor, we have to strategically place your gray water, black water tanks and such. Because this has hydronic heat, we were able to couple the fresh water and the hydronic lines underneath the coach to keep the fresh water from freezing up to bring the hydronic heat and your fresh water up here. So pretty happy with that. Really large windows everywhere. This big monster window right here, definitely a cool addition to your dinette. We'll come back here, and nice residential refrigerator. There again, it drives me crazy to build them with the regular RV refrigerators. I'm in my service apartment probably 60 to 70% of the time here at the dealership. That's kind of my focus, and we see RV refrigerators giving way left and right. So it's definitely cool to have a regular residential refrigerator. For the people that say, well, you know, I don't want to have to run my generator, this has the nice power inverter on it. Of course, up top, I believe this one is spec'd with 420 watt solar panels, so you get through the day no problem. I personally just drove the coach. I never ran the generator whatsoever in a few days coming back from Indiana. So all in all, I'm pretty happy. You know, and if you have to run your generator for an hour here or there to be able to charge the batteries, in my opinion, not a big deal. We've not evolved into the lithium ion. That's something I'm going to try to work on. That's one thing I was hoping to look at whenever we were at the FMCA show out in Tucson. Just really, I know that that's kind of a major hub for lithium and higher voltage solar panels and such. I come back here. This is one of the first coaches, not the first, one of the first group that we use the Firefly integration system. So I don't know how clear that is, but you got home here. Very easy to operate. Master lights on and off, exterior lights, your freshwater, gray water tanks, start and stop your generator. You can start your generator, your inverter. You can disable, enable your inverter. So a really easy panel to operate here. We go to lights. Of course, it's separated between front, rear, and then exterior lights as well. We'll go over to generator, basically the electrical portion of it. So you start and stop your generator there, start your inverter. So pretty easy, really easy to operate versus having separate controls for everything. This does have heated tile floors, so that's this little gizmo right here in addition to another thermostat right here. So we will see. My favorite portions is how much you can videotape me coming into the bathroom. I'm about 200 pounds, maybe a little bit more from the COVID eating, hanging around the house, doing a lot of eating, hanging out, not doing much. So bigger guy, you know, I can get in here and don't really have a concern whatsoever. Be able to utilize this bathroom, even if it's sitting down. Pop down on the toilet, you can see there's a good 18 inches between my kneecaps in there, so really not a concern if you are a bigger guy. I mean, if you're 350 pounds, it's really not a concern whatsoever. This is something that was definitely pretty cool. I'll highlight it in front and rear. We've taken and extended our vanities all the way up. There again, it kind of gives it a little bit cleaner look. You know, instead of having the little lights coming out, we're placing two ceiling lights right there to be able to be utilized as a vanity light. There again, just kind of makes it a little bit cleaner. Something that I personally like quite a bit. I don't know if we can get into this guy or not. So there again, simplicity. Showhauler builds everything incredibly easy to follow, operate, and such. This is your main panel right here. The fact that we fill it up is the reason why we have to use this secondary panel. So you have a main connect, and then we fire off every single air conditioner, the inverter, all off here. And the cool thing is, I get people all the time to say, well, what all runs off the power inverter? Well, they separate everything here. You can catch that. And so you know exactly what runs off the power inverter. Every little component whatsoever, easy to isolate. So if you do have electrical issues, really not too many issues to be had. Very simple. All the Firefly system is right back here. All the pads themselves all connect back to the master brain. I've had really good luck with Firefly. They're actually right around the corner from Showhauler there in Middlebury. So if there's been any issues, I've fixed a lot of coaches with the Firefly, not Showhauler, just mass manufacturers. I've had really good luck getting a hold of those guys at Firefly and them walking me through things. So we kind of come back here, go into the pantry. Deep pantry, lights all lighted. Of course, all these shelves are adjustable. So, if you said, you know what, Darren, I really don't need that much pantry. We could take and put a clothes rod. You could put boxes. You can kind of put whatever in there. Washer dryer here, stacked combo here. Makes it nice if you're out on the road to be able to do a little laundry and such. More storage up top. We'll come back into the bedroom, and two major things have changed in the last, I would say about the last 90 to 120 days. The first improvement was the deeper bed slide. So the limitation on all the truck chassis, because the water tanks are located below the bed, this actually never moves. Just this portion right here moves. So in the past, they were running a hydronic heater out in front of the bed, and so the bed base would extend all the way out here. We were able to relocate the hydronic heater, or the heat register, build this base, and then build a deeper slide. Well, I pushed the guys pretty hard at Showhauler. The guys up there, there's one main sales guy that he and I get along pretty well. We mesh really well together. He took it a little bit another step further, a little bit of poking and prodding. And that was to do a deeper closet slide, opposing. So you'll see these cabinets that are inset. The reason why they're inset is because whenever it all comes together, this will slide over the top of the bed. But just makes it a little bit nicer. In the past, not that people travel with their suits and whatnot too often, but if you had a suit or a really nice jacket, you'd hang it in there and had to go a little bit of an angle. This is really deep, so you can put normal closet items in there and not have to kind of squish them in there. Eliminated the cabinet there, set the TV back, add the window, just gives it a completely different feel inside the bathroom, the bedroom. So really happy with both slides. Another thing that we did here on the bed, so the slide mechanism on a Showhauler will rest at the head of the bed. We were actually able to order a custom mattress to go around that slide mechanism. So we have a full 80-inch bed. A lot of RV mattresses are only 75 inches in depth. Or in height, so we were able to get around there. It definitely makes a difference. Really cool headboard. Did windows on each side. The fact of the idea of not having a window there at the head of the bed, I'm a big fan of it now. I did sleep, like I said, a few nights in the coach, and not having a window there, even though they're double paned, you do get a fair amount of wind, cold, whatever, even around a double pane window. So I was pretty happy with having just the two side windows. Having the windows off to the side, I couldn't tell any breeze. I couldn't tell any difference. Woke up one morning, it was 4 inches of snow on the ground, so it was super cold. So this will be my preferred way to build them, is having the window over across and then the two side windows, and then having that headboard built. If you want, I'll kind of pop this down. Kind of just a little bit more sleeker look. There is a controller underneath there to run your lights and your generator. It all integrates with the Firefly system as well. This is where I was going to pop my phone down and show you. So on either side of the bed, there are actually smartphone chargers on either side. So if you have an iPhone, you just set it right there. You don't have to connect to whatsoever. I don't know if you can get back and show that right down there. Right below there, that little black pod. Trying not to get anybody dizzy, so I appreciate the... So anyway, that's what that is. You pop your iPhone there, it starts charging. Just cool little attributes that, for this price category and for what people have in their home, those are kind of what some expectations. Come back here to the rear bathroom. A few things that I missed, but we'll address them as I come back around. So decent sized rear bath. This is 48 inches in depth right here. So pretty good sized shower. In fact, I'll pop in the shower here. You'll see a really cool flip up. Nice for ladies if they're shaving their legs. Even me, just to be able to get in there and use that for whatever you might need if you're gonna wash your feet or whatever. 2 shower insets here, so if you're traveling with somebody that has lots of shampoo, conditioner, soaps, body washes, makes it pretty handy to have 2 insets right there. Pretty cool the way that had some help from one of the guys at the factory as far as doing the floor tile in the shower, but definitely happy with the way it turned out in the little contrasting wall here. If you'll look up here, you don't see a skylight. I hate skylights. There again, from the service aspect of the dealership, I see that's the first thing to leak, and it makes the rear bathrooming so incredibly hot. So I typically just don't ever spec them with, and I will just do a fantastic fan to vent some of the moisture and the heat out of here. But I just simply hate those. And the fact that, like I said, I'm a little over 6 foot tall, you can see how much room there is there. You really don't need the skylight. A lot of manufacturers use the skylights simply just to give you, as you're shampooing your head, the concaveness, so you don't touch the ceiling itself. So like I said, this is definitely my preference. We'll take and flop around. I'll do my fun little sitting on the toilet again. Up front is a macerator because of the location, the macerated toilet. The rear is just a manual flushing toilet. The reason why I prefer these toilets is they use a lot less fresh water, and there again, gravity just doesn't really break. So I'll pop down here, decent room on either side. There again, a ton of storage. Even though, of course, you really can't see it, but even though there's no door here, this will actually go all the way back in here. So if you have a lot of stuff to store, maybe trying to hide something, you could get it all the way back in here. That will come all the way back in there. So definitely pretty happy there. Nice vanity there. I wanted to be able to hang some towels, but I didn't want to make anything permanent, so just got these little 3M jobbies here. Had a customer come in last week that had them, so pretty happy with them. There again, just try to make them a little bit more unique. What is definitely not a permanent solution. So come back around here. If you want to look here, I don't know if you can catch that. Able to catch that? So just to kind of give it a little bit different look. Normally, I'm personally not a fan of doing a lot of wild and crazy stuff on the ceiling. It's just more flash and flare, stuff to fall, stuff to break. But I did want to do something just a little bit different. So pretty simple design. Just basically just stack some maple up. This will come off with basically very little effort, and then you can service your air conditioner right there. No real tools required. It makes it look cool without having to do a whole bunch of work. And let me see if I'm smart enough. Pop it back into place. So really not a lot of time, but definitely kind of cleans up those plastic internal AC shrouds. Kind of gives a little bit cleaner look all the way down the coach. We'll come up here and try to give you a little bit, kind of skimped on some info around the cab area and such. I know we have some funky shadows and whatnot. Right up here is your entertainment inside this fiberglass cap here. So we added the Apple TV there, and then I've been spacing up the receiver there just because your regular stereo receiver seems to generate a lot of heat. So I got a little bit of spacing there. And then, I don't know if you can catch this right there on the floor. Get a lot of people that say, where's the cup holder for the passenger? And oddly enough, I spent a fair amount of time. You would figure, this being this Freightliner Cascadia, being hundreds of thousands of them on the road, that somebody would have came up with a passenger side cup holder, and that was my mission. Last night went out to a friend's house and we came up with a cup holder. We did a dual position. So the idea, because right now the air is completely out of the seats, these seats do turn around, however they would hit the cup holder. So let's see if I'm agile enough to get this up here. So I did a stepped type of system right here. So if you have shorter arms and just not happy with having just this, you can stack this secondary cup holder on top. There are little USB ports right there, so you want to charge your phone, you don't have to be able to utilize the driver's area. Charge your phone there. You can, because this is all just carpet wrapped, you can take and plug a USB there, still pop that over, and be able to have your phone here, stick it there. There's a lot of different options we can do. That was kind of the first attempt at a cup holder. It is mounted into place. You can still get the minimizer floor mats around here. That's another thing. Pretty cool setup, just doing these nice molded floor liners. I'm a big fan of the WeatherTechs. This is a different company, but same basic idea with the really cool molded floor liners here. Of course, both seats, like I said, they will flip-flop around. We'll go ahead and pop this back off and kind of show you how those seats flop around. You kind of have to push the seat. And like I said, right there, even with all the air out of the seat, it will miss that guy right there. It's kind of the idea is to bring a portion of the cab back to the RV, and they're really comfortable, really comfortable chairs. We recover the factory seats with the same material as the rest of the furniture, just to kind of match. The seats are incredibly comfortable. The reason why we retain the factory seats is the simple fact that the factory seats are designed to be set in hundreds, if not millions, 100,000, if not millions of miles. So they're incredibly comfortable. Some of the other Barca Lounger types are really not intended to be driven in all day long, every single day. So this is a really comfortable seat. The fact that we cover it to kind of make it match just kind of ties it all in. It does have a back cycler, so pretty cool setup. Lots of lumbar control, and they are heated as well. Both driver and passenger are heated as well. We'll get into a little bit of the dash here. I know this is we're probably 40 plus minutes in this video. Again, we're kind of getting back to the chassis. We had a little slight delay there. We're still trying to learn how to video and whatnot. Hopefully there just won't be too much of a glitch there. But anyway, we'll go over just the chassis itself and kind of lay out of the controls. Because this is I will call this transmission not an automatic, I will call the transmission an auto shift. So if you had never been in one of these before and you were blindfolded, it would literally feel like someone was shifting a manual transmission. So you'll be able to feel basically your throttle throttle will kind of go down, so to speak, and then shift, and then you'll feel it back. So it'd be like somebody literally pulling their foot off the throttle, shifting, and then putting your foot back in the throttle. So a little bit different. The fact that there's 12 speeds makes a big difference. You'll see most of the automobile manufacturers now going to 8, 10, 12 speeds. So same type of idea, having more gears. Most of the Class A's will use the Allison, which is a very smooth transmission. The downfall is they don't perform well in the hills. So this 12-speed coupled with the 600 horse will do anything you want it to do. Very nice layout. This is your tilt and your telescoping. So obviously you can set this thing down here, roll in here, and it takes me about 20-30 minutes to kind of get going, and then once you get going, you just basically set the steering wheel, set the cruise, and you're good to go. Very comfortable to drive. I've driven these things all over the country, much further than I should ever drive in one sitting, and they really do well. Kind of just layout here. Of course, you have your light switch over here. Most of your gauges here are pretty standard for any automobile or any truck. They'll go a little bit step further because we do have air. It'll have air pressure, have oil temperatures, transmission temperature, and you do have axle temperatures as well. Pretty nice setup. Aftermarket radio, that's radio, GPS, Bluetooth, and your backup camera itself. You can set that to run your backup camera driving up and down the road, still run Bluetooth and whatnot, or navigation. Nice layout as far as all the switches and such. The rear security light in the very back, you can activate that there again if you're trying to drive at night, trying to see something. If you're trying to back in, activate that, and you can activate the side guides lights as well. Nice air conditioner on a 100+ degree day. The dash air will perform well. You don't have to start your generator to run anything further back as long as you're in this immediate area right here. I will admit that. Transmission itself just rolls into drive and neutral. Very easy to operate. Anybody can get in these things. I have lots of first-time RV owners. I have lots of female clientele that run these things and are very, very comfortable in them. Go across here, just some more pressure gauges and such. This is pretty cool. This is your tire pressure monitoring. So this is a factory setup right here that will tell you your tire pressure and your tire temperature, and will give you notification if you get too high a temperature or too low a pressure. This is one thing that I spec out and add. This particular coach, in fact, there's so many things to remember. This is one of the first coaches that the rear end is actually 2 inches higher off the ground than any other coach, and 2 inches higher than the front storage compartments. That's been my complaint with these bigger coaches, is you just have too much overhang, and with too much overhang, it becomes uncomfortable to drive in and out of parking lots. As long as you're out on the highway, you're fine, but at some point in time, you're going to want to pull into a grocery store, a Costco parking lot, a fuel station that might not be so RV or truck friendly, and you have to worry about dragging the rear end. This particular coach, because it's 2 inches taller, and we have actually spec'd an overinflate valve. So similar to like what some of the buses and Class A's do, you can actually overinflate your airbags and get a lot of ground clearance on this. So pretty happy with that. I drove this coach just like I was driving a small little coach and had no issues. There was an area that I tore up a coach in St. Louis. I went back to that area to see exactly how much room I had, and I had 6 inches additional clearance, whereas the same coach I tore up a few years ago, obviously I tore it up because I was hitting the ground. So little things like that, definitely kind of to refine the product. We'll run through this right here. So the way that this is intended is your front axle is engaged as a drive axle, and so you can lock your front axle left to right. If you were in some sand or whatever, you can lock the back axle in, and then you can lock the back axle left to right. So it makes it pretty handy as well. Not too many people are taking these out in any kind of snow and ice, but definitely is handy to be able to have all those differentials, locks and such. And the bottom one is that's more truck related. The idea is if you needed to lower the air suspension, if you were backing up to a trailer, about the only time you would use this in an RV aspect is if you were at an incline and the rear of the coach was up the incline. You would take and drop that, lower your air suspension. It makes your front jacks have to work a lot less if you're starting off a little bit lower in your rear. So it definitely makes a difference there. But super happy with pretty much everything on this coach. This is kind of the new evolution for Showhauler. The look to do a lot more of these particular coaches. Lots of cool things to be had coming on down the pipeline. Just small little attributes that make the coaches more user friendly. Of course, with the price of these things continuing to increase, the components that continue to increase, and just the demands of the customers and the dealers themselves make it so much different. So be happy to bring some more coaches. Luckily we've been staying busy here at the shop with all what's going on in the environment right now. Showhauler is getting back to business, so I'll be back up there picking up some customer coaches the next few days or week or so. So pretty happy about all that, but really excited about this coach. If you have any questions, feel free to call me on my cell phone at any point in time. I kind of eat, sleep, and breathe these. I take it really personal. These things, I try to know everything there is to know about them. it's not just another dealer selling another product. I take every single coach very personal. Feel free to call me on my cell phone number at any point in time. It's 806-786-7676. You can pretty much reach me at any point in time. Be happy to do any kind of FaceTime. Obviously, customers that do custom coaches, it's helpful for them to come in. You can kind of cut and paste mentally, be able to walk into different coaches and see. We have customers that come from all over the country here for service. That definitely makes it handy to have some interaction. We get people that come in and stay for days at a time in their new coach. We get people that come in and stay for days at a time while we service their coach. So definitely a completely different environment that you would normally expect at most RV dealerships. So to keep on doing more videos. Hopefully this thing saved a lot of wind noise outside this little Insta mic. Hopefully the videoed like it should. We'll do some more. Keep on coming back. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you go to our Facebook page and hit the like button as well. And really and truly, if you have any questions, hit us up. You know, we're here to be able to help you out. If there's a long-term goals for you, you just say, hey Darren, I'm going to build one of these things, but it's not going to be in 6 months or 8 months or a year. I'm happy to lend any kind of information. And of course, you know, the nice thing is every coach gets better and better as we build. So I don't really see any downfall to continuing to wait a little bit, you know, to build your next coach. The trucks get nicer, the attributes get nicer. Just build a better coach continually. Thanks a lot, guys.